so HESA for short. And we are the only state agency with the sole mission of providing students and families with the financial and informational resources to pursue their education beyond high school. So we like to look at ourselves as the one that give out free money, especially when it comes down to financial aid. So scholarships and grants. Yes, we do have a loan program for our students who need, extra money, or for our students who want to go out of state. We do have a loan program, but we like to talk about the free money, the money that you don't have to pay back. So let's get into it. New Jersey high school graduation requirement for students in the graduating class of 25, 26, and 27. So I know there's a lot of talk. Yes, it is a state law that the students have to complete a FAFSA in order for them to graduate at the end of the year. So it's part of their graduation requirement. Some of the reasons why that came into play, aside from New Jersey always being in the top five states throughout the nation who had their FAFSA completion up, and that's because the other four are mandated, so we were right behind them. Um, it's because it builds awareness of financial aid resources in for New Jersey students to pursue that post-secondary education. It determines eligibility for both federal, so that's FAFSA, and then for also state financial aid. So when it comes down to students who are dreamer students, our dreamer students are students who can't apply for FAFSA because they don't have, either not a citizen or eligible non-citizen. We have our own financial aid so that way they can be eligible for state aid. It empowers students to make informed decisions about the college selection process. This is really a great time for students and families to have that conversation about finances and what needs to go into effect and what we need to actually, make the best decision that we can when it comes down to financial aid. And it emphasizes that a college degree is both accessible and affordable for many New Jersey residents. We do give throughout the nation. New Jersey gives out the most money in aid to their students, which is a great thing because it doesn't matter if you're a high school student or if you're a non-traditional student, meaning an adult who wants to go back to school. If you're a New Jersey resident, all of these programs, minus two or three actually, because they're more catered to our high school students, can apply to everyone that lives in the state of New Jersey. So we just want to build that awareness and show that there is a reason to actually complete the FAFSA or the New Jersey alternative application. You can, however, actually, let me go back. If you are not doing both, there is a waiver that you can ask for, but it will have to be given by the school. So, for the goals of the financial aid office, that's very important. Making sure that you do go and show your face at the financial aid office is pretty much to assist in paying college, and that is achieved by evaluating your family's ability to pay for educational costs, distributing limited resources in an equitable manner, providing a balance of grants and scholarships and other funds from the family's own resources, such as savings or wages from school sponsored student employment, and implementing federal and state regulations for their college and university. I tell students no matter what, and I tell families no matter what, please stop in when you're doing college tours or when you're finally going to your school that you have decided. Please stop into the financial aid office and have a conversation with them and let them know who you are, because in the case that your financial situation has changed between year 2023 to now, the student definitely is more responsible. They are responsible for their financial aid. Will have to go in and say, hey, listen, my family's financial situation has changed, and I need more. Or is there any other scholarship or fund or grant fund that I can look into that can supply me with the extra funds? And typically, all they're going to ask is for some type of documentation to prove that, and then once again, they will send it to the state, which is us, or they'll go ahead and they'll reevaluate the package that the school has given. So it is best to go in there. It's best to show your face. It's best to talk to them. That way you can be have the resources and be more open to the possibilities of extra funding, or you can find other scholarships. They are there to help you. It is a very tough and trying time and very stressful time for the financial aid office. But since working here, I have found out that they are all The main goal is to make sure that the students have what they need, and they are more than happy to help you out. So please, 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 as a student, please go in there, talk to them, and as parents, make sure you sign your FERPA form first, and that way you can go in and talk to them. So sources and types of aid. So your sources of aid will come from either the school, federal, which is FAFSA, and then the state of New Jersey, which is HESA, and also private scholarships, anything coming from civic organizations, Rotary clubs, your employer, and high school awards. Those are your sources. The types of financial aid, grant, scholarships. Those are the two most important ones. Those are the ones that you do not pay back. You have a grant, you don't pay a grant back. You get a scholarship, you don't pay that back. However, there are other ones, so like loans. Definitely, loans are self-help, so those you do have to pay back. School sponsored student employment. So if you are part of work study, that can help pay towards your education. If you have a job that's paying for your tuition, so they do tuition reimbursement, and then savings. If you have a college savings, that can also go towards your education. So those are your types of financial aid. Then the factors that may influence institutional aid. Obviously, academics, AP courses, any type of high school class rank, geographic diversity, those hold a more of merit based. And then you have like your athletic ability, so your athletic scholarships. If your child or if you're a student going to school for on a full ride for volleyball, soccer, football, basketball. SAT and ACT, those scores are optional for a lot of schools. However, if you score very well on your SATs and you submit the scores to whatever school, you can be eligible for a scholarship based off of just your score. So we tell students, if you know you did very well, please submit your scores. That way you can go ahead and get the extra money. It's a scholarship. Legacy student, meaning you're a child of an alumni. So if you're going to your parents' alma mater or their old college, then you'll be able maybe to get a scholarship that way. Activities, being engaged in your community, things of that nature in organizations. And just for high school attended or geographic diversity in the state of New Jersey, we have a governor's urban scholarship. So if a student resides in one of our designated areas, then they can, and they rank in a certain top 5 percentile of their class, they'll be able to be eligible for a scholarship under New Jersey. And we're going to get into all of the programs that we have. Um, but this is just some things that may factor into your institutional aid. So the net price calculator is just a tool that all universities have on their website. All institutions have it. You just go on their website and you just type in net price calculator. It'll pop up. So it's an estimate of an individual net price per institution. Is based off of full-time, first degree / certificate seeking undergrad students. It'll just give you an estimate of what your tuition might be. Very good tool. You'll be able to see it, see kind of what you'll be paying, and you'll be able to compare and contrast between the schools that you are deciding. And it's just something to look into. Moving on to the types of aid. So we're going to start with federal first. So yeah, so that's what everyone, is so eager to do just at this moment. So we have the federal student aid, which is the FAFSA. You go ahead, you fill that out. It's actually open now, but we'll get there. So FAFSA opens the gateway to Pell Grant, which is worth $7,395 a year. That's the maximum. As well as the SEOG, which stands for Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. And that's an extra $4,000 if you demonstrate extreme financial need. And also the Teach Grant. So if you're looking to go into education and be a teacher, if you are thinking about teaching in a designated area for a certain amount of years, that is covered under the Teach Grant, then it'll just be a grant. You don't have to pay back. However, if you decide that, hey, I want to move or I want to go to a different district that is not covered under the teach grant, then you have to pay that back. So I tell people just to think about it, look into what their requirements are before you go ahead and apply for it. Because if you end up changing your mind or you end up changing locations or districts and they're not covered under there, they're looking for you to actually pay it back. So in that case, it becomes a loan versus a grant. Um, with the Pell, with SEOG, and with Teach, like I said, all you do is the FAFSA for that. We do not know if the award amounts are subject are will be changing. We're waiting. We won't be hearing that until I believe May of 2025 is when they typically release that information out. As of right now, it is what you see right here on the screen. Um, but doing the FAFSA now has now opened up for more students to be eligible for Pell. So it's either maximum Pell of that 7,395 or minimum Pell of $750 for the year. It's now making it easier and making it more for students to have. I know it's not a lot. Trust me, I get it. However, it is something. So it's good that they did that. That way it opens it up for students. But doing the FAFSA then opens up the doors for state aid, which is for New Jersey. We have programs here. Like I said, we give out the most money throughout the nation. So we have full time tag, which you can get as little as $1,280 to as much as $14,404. We have part time tag, which is for community college only, because we understand that you have to work to support yourself. It's not feasible for you to go to school full time. So we have part time tag for community college, where you get as little as $320 to $1,097 because community college is cheaper than a 4 year school. We have a program that is state funded, but it's university ran. So every university has a different criteria when it comes down to EOF for the Educational Opportunity Fund. It can, depending on whatever school you're looking into, there could be an interview process. You definitely have to fill out an application, have to probably give a little bit more financial information to them, but it is a great program that I've heard so much about. I wasn't in EOF, but my coworkers and other colleagues, they are part of EOF, and they say that it's great. The support is great. Um, so if you are eligible, please look into that. Then we have the New Jersey Stars program. So NJ Stars is for the top 15% of high school class, junior or senior year, and it takes care of the tuition at a community college. So if your child or if you as a student rank within that top 15 percentile, we'll automatically get that information from your guidance counselor, who, if they share their ranking with us, and then that will let us know if you are in that percentile, you'll be able to go to community college with your tuition covered pretty much. And then within your third and your fourth year at a 4 year school, NJ Stars 2 will then follow you. And you'll receive up to $2,500 a year for any New Jersey school, 4 year school. The Governor's Urban Scholarship is for top 5 percentile of high schools juniors in their junior year. So there has to be at the end of their junior year, if they are eligible or qualify for it, and we'll get that ranking as well from their guidance counselor. And that's up to $1,000 plus a 500 persistency bonus. So as long as they stay persistent, they get a little extra money. We have NJ Gives, which is for women and minorities looking to build trade and construction. That's a separate scholarship that is on our website that you may have to complete. If it applies to you, you can receive up to $2,000 to go to any technical school and build a trade up in construction supervision, automotive technology, and engineering. And then we have two programs that you can use separately or together, which is Community College Opportunity Grant and Garden State Guarantee. So we'll get into it, but pretty much states that if you are in anywhere between $0 to $100,000, your tuition can either be free, half off, or covered, or 33% off, or covered by the state. And that's just pretty much all of the programs that we have. So doing the FAFSA will unlock all of this. And there's nothing really much for you to do after that, unless you're looking to go into the New Jersey Gives. That's a separate application. However, just doing the FAFSA will unlock everything else for you. Um, and the EOF is something that you do with the school, but everything else will be unlocked for you. And then all you have to do is just wait to see what you're eligible for. So now we're going to go through and just talk about how you can, the requirements. So, like I said, either filing a FAFSA, or if you are not filing a FAFSA because you are not an eligible non-citizen or citizen, you are doing a New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. That is the same thing as the FAFSA. It's just a PDF version of it, so you have to manually input everything in. But it's for our students, like I said, our Dreamer students who are not citizens or eligible non-citizens, and they've been a New Jersey resident for for at least 3 years. And they also graduate from a New Jersey high school or have a GED from a New Jersey program or institution. And they sign, they're willing to legalize their citizenship when the time is right for them. So if you meet all those three requirements, then you can go ahead and complete a New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application. You have to be enrolled full time unless you're going to community college, and then you'll get part time tag, demonstrate financial need, and meet all state deadlines for application and document submission. Part time tag, NJ Star, CCOG, and EOF awards are available for county college students enrolled in 6 to 11 credits per semester. So if you're going to, will be Essex County can still gets part time tag. They have NJ Star, CCOG, and EOF is also there as well. So going into our state grants and scholarship programs, like I said, EOF is a great program to get into if you are eligible. You can get anywhere between 200 to 3,050 annually, and it depends on the institution. So in the case that a student is a commuter student, they may receive less than a resident student because a student lives on campus versus not living on campus. It all depends on the campus and on the school and what their state regulations are. They must demonstrate educational and economical disadvantage background, and they must complete all EOF tasks with the campus EOF office. Whatever their requirements are when it comes down to filling out application. I know Rutgers has a pretty intense application. I've helped some students with it. It's probably like 5 to 6 pages long. But once they go through there, and I don't think they have to go through an interview process. Georgia Court had an intense EOF process. You'll do an application, you have to go through an interview. It's a great program, but once you get inside, so just look into it if you're interested in it. Wonderful resources. You can get on campus a little bit earlier. You can get internships, so you'll be like in the know of like certain things before anybody else on campus. You can accelerate your college journey. Great program. The Governor's Urban Scholarship. So the rank within the top 5% of their class at the end of junior year. They must attain a 3.0 GPA at the end of junior year. They must reside in a designated municipality and qualify for TAG award. So I know this is Montclair High School. You guys are not in this designate. You guys are not on chart. However, if any of the students do live outside of Montclair due to whatever reason, and they live within any of these cities, we would have that information because the guidance counselor will tell us. And then if they do qualify, they'll be able to get this scholarship. NJ Stars is for New Jersey students who rank in the top 15 of their class at either their end of their junior year or senior year. So they have some time. I talked to a lot of students, and well, seniors, and they're like, or juniors. I talk to them and they're like, oh, I didn't do too well my junior year. And I'm like, okay, that's the most important year. However, with the state, with this state program, this state grant program, if they mess up, they have some time to redeem themselves senior year. So they can go ahead and fix whatever they messed up junior year. That way they can be eligible senior year. However, once they get into school, once they get into college, they must attain a cumulative GPA of a 3.0 or higher at the start of their third semester. So that first year, we let y'all lollygag a little bit, but that second semester, second year, first semester, you better make sure that everything is tip top shape because you have to have it to remain NJ Stars eligible. Then once you graduate, so that next semester, you know, your last semester, you're graduating and you're going to a 4-year school, NJ Stars 2 will then follow you as long as your family's taxable income is less than $250,000. And then with that, you must earn your associate's degree, graduate with a 3.25 or higher, and you may receive up to 2,500 annually for tag eligible public or private for your New Jersey college or university. So we expanded. We said you can go to public or private New Jersey school, but you have to get good grades. And I stress that because a lot of our students um, think that the aid is just going to sit there and they can do whatever they want. No, 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 no. If you drop your grades and you go below the requirements of the GPA of satisfactory academic progress, they will snatch your aid away. Your aid is gone. Amongst another way of getting your aid taken away from you. So please, 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 please understand that satisfactory academic progress is what we need from you. So do your work. Get good grades. Do your work. The governor's industry vocation scholarship for women and minorities. You can receive up to $2,000 per year for the cost of enrollment at one of the New Jersey 18 county colleges, technical vocational schools, and some proprietary schools. You have to do the research when it comes down to those schools, well, to the proprietary schools, because some of them um, are with partner with New Jersey and others are not. So you have to do the research on that one. Benefits women and minorities pursuing certificate or degree programs in construction related fields. You must be a New Jersey resident and have an adjusted gross income less than $60,000. It's a separate application that you have to complete online and it's found in your New Jersey FAMS account. So we will go through what that looks like. And in some programs eligible for scholarship is construction supervision, solar energy technology, and architectural engineering technology. It's a great program. A lot of our non-traditional students, so the students who are not fresh out of high school, so a lot of our New Jersey, our adults go into this program, and we work with them very closely. And then for our last two, community college opportunity grant, which pays for all or part of the cost of tuition and approved fees at New Jersey County College. You must take a minimum of 6 credits per semester, and you must make satisfactory academic progress. I told you it is very important. There's 3 tier groups. First tier group is adjusted gross income of $0 to $65,000, and that's for a maximum award. So meaning tuition is covered. Any fees that you have left are covered. It's a last dollar program. So if you do have a remaining bill, once everything goes through, New Jersey will then come and clean up whatever is left if you are between $0 and $65,000. If you're in tier group two, $65,001 to 80,000, half of that is taken care of. So if you have a remainder, half of it will be taken care of by New Jersey. If you're in tier group three, $80,001 to 100,000, 1/3 of that award will be taken care of by New Jersey. So whatever is left, a third of it is gone. Great program. All you have to do is your FAFSA to make sure that you're eligible. And if you are going to a community college, Essex County, for I believe Montclair is Essex County, That's where you'll see it. A lot of our students, or a lot of our residents, I should say, take advantage of CCOG. It helps them out in any way. Community college is obviously cheaper than a 4-year school. So most of the time they don't have a remainder at the end of it. But if they do, we come and pretty much take care of it for them. So that's CCOG, or Community College Opportunity Grant. Then we have Garden State Guarantee. So you can use CCOG and then graduate after your 2 years to get into a 4-year school, a public 4-year institution, or you can go directly into your 4-year institution. And then your third and your fourth year can be covered under Garden State Guarantee. So you don't have to go to community college first. You can go straight into your 4-year. It's interchangeable. You can do it together or you can do it separately. Um, and it's the same thing, just with a little bit different with the pricing. So tier one, tuition and proof fees are completely covered. Tier two, you pay a net price of no more than 7,500. So in tuition and fees. So whatever you have left, New Jersey will take care of the remainder of that, and you will only be left with $7,500. Tier three says that you pay no more than 10,000 in tuition and fees. So if you have 20,000 left over, we took care of the other 10, and all you have left is 10 to pay. Great program. A lot of our students who are in school, who are going into their junior and senior year, they probably had a bill, and all of a sudden they look at their portal and there's no bill there, there's no remainder. They always email and call us and say, hey, I used to have a bill, now I don't. I don't know what happened. And I will look into their NJ FAMs and say, oh, GSG, or Garden State Guarantee, came in and took care of it for you. So enjoy going to school, get good grades, and be on the track to graduation. It's a great program. Again, all you have to do is do your FAFSA or your New Jersey Alternative app, get your grades, and that's it, right? And obviously, um, make sure you do your work and get good grades, because that's the main thing. We just want to make sure you get good grades and you make satisfactory academic progress. Then we have the 3+1 degree completion program. The easiest way to describe this program is only as well, it's at certain schools, and it all depends on the program that you are, or the major that you're looking to go into. So at Middlesex College, they have a partnership with Rutgers, New Brunswick, where their medical majors, well, depending on which one it is, you have to decide, you have to figure out which one it is too. You can go to Middlesex College for 2 years. You're paying community college uh, tuition. So technically, if you are eligible for TAG and JSTARS and CCOG, which you have to be, that can take care of that for you initially. So you're there for 2 years, paying the community college tuition rate. Your third year, you technically are a Rutgers, New Brunswick student. However, you're taking Rutgers New Brunswick courses with Rutgers New Brunswick staff. However, you are still paying Middlesex College price tuition. Okay. And then that fourth and final year, so you already have your associate's degree. Now you're going for your bachelor's. That fourth and final year, you're fully transitioned into Rutgers, and now you're paying Rutgers price, tuition price. It's a great program when it comes down to financially, because you're for 3 years you pay Middlesex College price, and then that final year all you're doing is paying Rutgers tuition. And then that's when GSG can come in and take care of, if you're eligible for GSG, it'll come in and take care if you have a balance. So it's a great program. You do have to do the research to see exactly what the majors are, if it is your major, if it isn't your major, and then what county college is with whatever their neighboring partnering university, to see if they have this 3+1 bona fide completion degree completion program. So now that we got all the free money, as I call it, or as we call it, adhesive free money, out of the way, now we're going to go into the scary stuff, which is loans. And I'm so sorry, but Loans and financing shortfall solutions. The 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 quickest way to actually get yourself into student loan debt is when you receive your term bill and you don't do anything about it as soon as possible. Meaning like calling your financial aid office and setting up a payment plan or asking if there's any extra funds, and waiting till the last minute before your classes start. Now you're scrambling trying to figure out how you're going to get the remaining $15,000, $20,000. You get a loan because that's what they do. Oh well, you can't pay it. Here's a loan. Oh well, it's payments are due August 1st. Here's a loan. We don't want that. As soon as you get your bill between June and July, we always say that it's best to contact your financial aid office to see if you can get into a payment plan as soon as possible. That way, your deposit isn't as much. You get a lower deposit that way because you're going to be paying it over time and it's not on a crunch time. So if you get it June 20th, you see that you can't, you don't have 15,000, you don't have 20,000, obviously, who's expecting you to have all that money. Um, you go ahead, you contact, say, okay, one, I don't have this. Two, is there a payment plan I can get on for between now and December? And three, is there any other funding, grant, scholarship that I can apply for that can help me take this off, reduce the cost? They are more than happy to help you. They are more than happy to give you the resources that you need. If you find yourself in the predicament where you have now waited too long and you're asking for a payment plan in July or in August, well, I shouldn't say July, at the end of July, beginning of August, because that's when bills are due in August. You find yourself there. Now you're in panic mode, and now you need those loans because you can't start classes until you pay this bill, right? If you find yourself there, please be mindful and please be smart when you're taking out loans. You do not need to take out the $20,000 loan if your bill is 10,000. Okay? Please read everything that's being offered in the loan that you're looking to take out. Please know that you can decline a loan. You have to accept a loan to actually have it. So it typically will be in your financial aid portal, where you can accept or decline a loan. If you do not have a balance, please do not take the loan. I know if I have any students on here, you may hear of refund checks, and that's great. It's only good if it's not coming from a loan. So if that's the school who owes you money because you got a scholarship somewhere, midway through the semester, and now it's been accoladed to your account and they give you your money back, great. But if it's coming from a loan, that means that money has to be paid back. You don't want to be $45,000, $50,000 in student loan debt in your undergrad year, because grad school is on your own. Grad school, there is no financial aid. That's all loans. So if you're thinking about getting a master's, a PhD, or anything else, that is out of pocket. Undergrad, we want you to graduate your undergrad year with little to no student loan debt. If you make a mistake along the way, it's understandable. I have a lot of, my peers have, um, but that's why we're telling you guys this, and why we're telling your families this. That way, you guys don't find yourselves in situations where you are $50,000, $60,000 in undergrad student loan debt for undergrad year, and you're trying to get another degree, and now that's an extra 50 to 60,000 depending on where you go, or you're going to medical school, and that's more money. We want to make sure that you have all the resources that you need. So after completing your FAFSA, immediately they will put you in to see if you're eligible for a federal direct loan program. Everyone who is a first year dependent is qualified for a federal direct loan. The subsidized loan is $3,500, and it's need based. So typically, all of our students get that. If you don't get it, that just means that you don't show or demonstrate financial need. But mostly all the students get that one. Um, And that doesn't incur interest while you're in school. So while you are in school and you take it out all 4 years, it does not accrue interest until after you graduate. However, the unsubsidized loan, which is an extra $2,000, that accrues interest while you're in school. So you take that out every if you take that out for the 4 years, it's going to accrue interest while you're in there. Most students, they just wait until after graduation. You have until I believe 6 months after graduation before you start repayment plans. Um, some students pay off their loans while they're in school. If you can do that, great. If you can't, it is okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't fret. It's fine. Um, but just be mindful of when you're taking out and how much you're taking out. Be mindful of understanding, I should say, actually, that due to the economy, your rates may go up, they may go down, well, they'll never decrease, but they may increase or they'll stay the same. Just be mindful of what you are putting yourself into when you are taking out loans and looking into loans. Um, Making sure that you keep your information up to date, making sure that you know who has your loan, because sometimes loans can go into something called consolidation and they're being sold to another loan provider. So now they are taking your loan and they're giving it to a different lender. Stay in the know of what you're doing when it comes down to your loans, okay? Our federal undergrad direct loan interest rates at this moment are 6.53% plus a 1.057 origination fee. They did go up from last year. Last year they were 5.79, but the origination fee has not gone up. It is subject to change for 25-26. They typically go up every year or every other year. They typically go up. So just keep an eye on it. Other loan options. So we have a loan program here in New Jersey. It's called NJ Class. Um, we like to say that we have the lowest loan rate, which we do throughout the nation. We actually do, compared to the federal Parent Plus loan. So all of the loan rates have gone up. Our loan rate is 5.99 for a 10-year option, 6.99 for a 15-year option, and 7.99 for 20-year option. Federal Parent Plus loan is at a 9.08%, plus the 4.228% in the origination fee. If you get the Federal Parent Plus loan, good. If you do not, it's fine. They're gonna give you an extra like I think they give you an extra $2,000 for if you get declined because they feel bad, and that doesn't make your interest. They just say here because you felt bad if you apply for it. And only the parent can apply for a federal Parent Plus loan. However, for our loan, the student or the parent can be a borrower. It's just in most cases, the parents become a borrower because of the criteria, the requirements. So a credit score is 670, and you have to have a salary of 40,000 or more a year. So typically, that's the parent. Um, we just came back from a conference, I want to say 2 weeks ago, where we were going through like just the statistics of things and family conversation when it comes down to loans. And wouldn't you know, only about 40% of families actually have the conversation about who's going to repay the loans. Um, what you would think is like, oh, it's higher. It was higher than I thought. I thought it'd be at 25, but it needs to be higher than that. Um, a lot of our families or parents, when they look at the loans and their kids have graduated, they do call and they say, "Hey, what about the loan? It was for my son. Why am I still being, responsible for it? Because it's in your name. You cannot switch it out of your name to somebody else's name." Please have the conversation. Sit down and understand, like, okay, this is a loan. We took it out in our name because obviously you couldn't do it. You didn't meet the criteria for it as a student, but this is how the repayment plan is going to work for it after you graduate. Just have that conversation. A lot of the times we don't have these financial conversations in the house because we want everything to be, peachy and okay, but it's reality. Finances are reality. Going to college is not cheap. Um, It's not cheap at all, actually. It's really expensive. So let's just be okay and comfortable with having that conversation that way. After graduation, there's no confusion. And then we can make better choices as we move forward with our college journey as well. So the applications that we have to do to access this aid, we have the studentaid.gov, which is the FAFSA. That was released 2 days ago. It was supposed to be released on December 1st, but they said, hey, we're going to push it out early. I've done two already. So my sister is currently enrolled at Morgan State University in Baltimore, and I have a younger sister who is a senior this year who is going, hopefully, going to North Carolina. Um, so I made sure to get those out the way, and everything went good. My mom got the invitation for both girls. Um, no glitches, no error messages. We're all set. I have been working with the students in Newark who were selected to do the beta. So beta was a earlier version of the FAFSA that was released back in October. The first two groups, we had a lot of issues. Um, Now, those issues that I did see, they have been fixed. Some of them were with undocumented parents, and some of them were matching the students with the parents. Everything seems to be going good, so fingers crossed that we keep going up from here. No more problems. We have the CSS profile. So if you're looking to go to more private schools or schools out of New Jersey, the only school in New Jersey that requires a CSS profile is the Stevens Institute of Technology. You can do both applications. Doesn't matter if you do FAFSA or CSS profile. You could do them both. But typically, it's the private schools that are looking for a CSS profile. And then our Dreamers. So our Dreamers, that application on our website was released on October 1st. So if you did that, all my Dreamers are doing at this point is just waiting for us to get back to them with their eligibility. So for the CSS profile, approximately 400 schools and organizations use it to determine how they will award institutional or school-funded aid. It was available October 1st. Each year collects a more comprehensive income, asset, and household information than the FAFSA. So it's a little bit more in depth. And all three of our access to aid applications use the federal tax year of 2023. It's always year prior. So if you are going to school 25, 26, it's 2023. If you're going to school 26, 27, that'll be 2024. If you register, complete an application, make a payment, and submit. That's pretty much it. However, there's no application fee if you have an income under $100,000. If you do, the first application is $25, and then it's $16 after that. So each application is $16. That's the website for it. You go to cssprofile.collegeboard.org, and then you'll be able to look at to fill out the application for the school that you want to go to. The FAFSA. Now, I know we have a lot of questions, so I'm going to get through this as fast as possible. That way, you can ask all the questions. Maybe I'll answer them throughout this presentation. So 2025-2026 FAFSA is now available. That was as of Monday at 5:00 p.m. It collects families' personal and financial information used to calculate the student's student aid index. The SAI determines eligibility for federal student aid. You file the FAFSA electronically at studentaid.gov, and they also use year prior, so 2023. All contributors on the application, so that student and parent or parents, must provide consent to the IRS to obtain federal tax information. If you file your taxes, all you have to do is hit approve. The IRS already has it. FAFSA just needs to see exactly what the student needs from the federal government, from the Department of Education, pretty much. That's it. Um, to populate income and tax information with actual prior year tax information. All prior year tax information, 2023, is already filed along, allowing immediate retrieval. There's nothing else for you to do at that point. Just hit approve and you move on to the next questions. So in order, I know I was at the school in October. I was at Montclair in October. So I spoke about the FSA ID with some of the parents there. Um, Very simple, and we're going to keep it so simple that way it doesn't get too confusing. Everyone needs a FSA ID. So obviously the student needs a FSA ID. Great. But what parent or parents need the FSA ID? If the two parents file their taxes jointly and they are legally married, then only one of you need it. Flip a coin, whoever it is, heads, tails, make sure that person is the more responsible person when it comes down looking at the email. That's it. If the parents are divorced or separated, in New Jersey, we only recognize divorce, not legal separation. The parent that provides more financial support in the last 12 months. So if it's mom, if it's dad, only one of you needs an FSA ID. That's it. If married or unmarried and living together, but did not file taxes jointly, then each parent will need a FSA ID. Okay? If single, not married, not living with the other biological parent, and you provide the most support within the last 12 months, only one parent needs it. If remarried, so the biological parent now has remarried, then you and the step parent need a FSA ID. Okay? So the only people that can be considered contributors on a student's FAFSA is a biological parent, a step parent, and an adoptive parent. Those are the only three. If grandma is raising the student and mom or dad has not gone to the court to get to make it become a legal adoption, then they cannot put grandma down. They have to put mom and dad down. There are circumstances and situations that are on the FAFSA that will pretty much make the student either dependent or independent. So if they answer certain questions, like it poses a risk for them to be in contact with their parent, then obviously because of that, they can then go ahead and they'll be provisionally independent. They have to provide documentation, but they'll be provisionally independent. Okay. So that's just the grand scope of who needs the FSA ID. You'll be able to see the questions and go through something called a parent wizard that will then determine how many parents we need it, whether it's the one or the two. But in most cases, the student can just pretty much answer the questions and then they'll figure out exactly if it's just one drop down box or two drop down boxes. And if it says optional, here's a little tidbit. If it says optional, do not put nothing in that parent box if it says optional. Just do the one parent and move on. It'll allow you to do it. For our undocumented contributors, they have to have an FSA ID. So they can create one without having a social security number. All they have to do is register with their name, birthday, and permanent address, email address, and they have to verify their identity through a knowledge-based verification process. The thing when it comes down to an undocumented contributor, the student's permanent address has to match theirs identically. So if a student lives at 123 Sesame Street and he put ST period, then the parent has to put 123 Sesame Street ST period. It has to be identical. That's how they are matching the undocumented parent with the student as contributors for the FAFSA. The FAFSA, okay? So make sure everyone has their own individual email when creating. Make sure that the information contributors who cannot verify their identity are able to complete the process of creating their FSA ID account and complete the FAFSA. So they will be able to do it. However, they have to go through the steps of sending in certain documentation, scanning it, emailing it to the FSA ID reps, and they will send them a case number with the information, and then they'll let them know once their identity has been verified, they'll receive an email and they should be okay. This has not happened to me just yet. I've actually worked with a couple undocumented parents who went through the little verification. It was 3 questions. They click, hit submit, and then they're done. And they got their access right then and there. Just making sure that everyone is all on the same page about having their own email, birthday, name, make sure the name and birthday match IDs and social security cards, social security numbers. Everything has to be separate. Federal tax information, it's just the IRS will request the consent to retrieve your federal tax information to populate in the FAFSA. If parents are married or unmarried living together but did not file their taxes jointly, then both will need to log in and provide consent to retrieve federal tax information. So that's why we say um, both of the parents need to have an FSA ID. However, if one parent takes care of or have financially supported the child within the last 12 months, then only one parent needs to have it, not both. This is what it will look like. So you'll just go to this login page and you'll scroll all the way down and it'll say deny or approve. We say hit approve because if you hit deny, then it makes the student ineligible for any federal student aid, because you're not willing to let the federal tax or let FAFSA pull or the IRS actually put in your federal tax information. So it makes them ineligible, and we don't want them to be ineligible. So you hit approve, and then everything else you answer is manual. Um, so they'll ask you about um, certain things. Let me just see this. Okay. So here it is. On the parent side of the contributor section, that asks about your family size, income, any income and assets, federal means tested benefits, so any Medicaid, SNAP, SSI, free reduced lunch, WICs, any of those federal benefits. Business and farms will be considered as assets in the calculation of SAI, and any child support received is an asset. Those are the main things that they're asking for in the parent section. In the student section, very simple, full name, address, social, date of birth, mobile number. They can put up to 20 schools on their FAFSA. Federal tax information. So if they worked, they worked. If they didn't, they didn't. If they file, if they file taxes, then they will see that. Any personal circumstances. So this is where it'll let them know what their dependency status is, whether they're dependent or independent. If there's any special circumstances, unusual circumstances, that's where that can help determine their dependency. So if they were awarded the court, if they're an orphan, if they are here under asylum status, if they were at risk of being homeless, um, what's another one? Oh, if it poses them a risk to get in contact with their biological parent, if their biological parents are incarcerated, those can help determine whether a student is dependent or independent. At the end, all information contributors will receive an individual FAFSA submission summary, pretty much tell you when the application was received, when it's been processed, and how many submissions um, have been sent. So the student will get one. It'll say, congratulations, you're almost there. Once the invitation has been sent to the parent, they will then go ahead, log in with their FSA ID. It'll pop up on your dashboard that you have now been asked to be a contributor. You'll hit accept invitation. You'll go through your 3 sections because your section is shorter than in the student section. You'll fill it out. And once you submit, whether it's you or you and another parent, whoever is the last one to submit on the behalf of the student, congratulations will pop up, and now it's being processed. That way, the federal government will see it, and then we will see it at the state level, and the school will see it. Once it's processed, then the student will get an SAI. But before you get there, at the end of it, it says all applicants are instructed to log into njfams.hesa.org to create a username and a password. That's all you need to do. There is no other state application. Just create a username and a password on your NJFAMS account. That's all we're looking for. In 3 to 5 days, students can check awards and eligibility status and complete any outstanding items on their to-do list. Um, excuse me. It says 3 to 5 days because the FAFSA typically takes 3 to 5 days. We're just going to give it some time. We're going to see how things roll with the federal government and see if they really do things in 3 to 5 days. Um, so just give us time. I say a week, so we're not, hounding the computer and hounding our emails. But after doing all of that, then you'll be able to see if there's anything in the to-do list for you to submit. So when we talk about the to-do list, it's for verification purposes. So there's federal and then there's state verification. The school is responsible for verifying information for federal aid, except for special circumstances. HESAA is responsible for verifying information for state aid. So the school will ask the student to submit documentation to them, and that can be for school verification or federal verification. We will then send an email or a notification from NJ to say, "Hey, you've been selected for verification, which is at random. Please log in and go to your to-do list to see what you have to submit." We are a lot stricter when it comes down to our deadlines. We want to make sure that everything gets in on time. So you'll log into your NJ account, you'll see it, it'll say what you need to submit, and there'll be a due date. Please submit by that date, or else your aid will be gone for the semester. And we don't want that to happen to any more of our students. We do have a couple that do fall through the cracks, unfortunately, and they lose their aid for that semester. It's very important to submit your documentation by that due date. Okay. Schools may send requests for information by mail or email. Always check your school account and NJ account for required tasks, and be sure to meet verification deadlines. It's very important. For our NJ Dreamers, certain students with undocumented immigration status who attend at least 3 years and graduated from a New Jersey high school and the other requirements may be eligible for state aid. The application is a part of NJ FAM, so you'll go to njfam.hesa.org, register your account by creating user ID and password, and then log in to complete the application by established deadlines. You meet all other need and or merit-based eligibility criteria for state student aid. So this is a pathway for our Dreamer students to actually have aid in the state of New Jersey. So they're not eligible for federal aid, but they're eligible for state aid in the state. That way they can go to school here. You can go right on our website, njgrants.org. You'll be able to log in here. You'll hit login. You'll go to NJ FAMS, and you'll click here to log in. Your login page will look like this. You'll see your to-do list. You'll see apply if you're a New Jersey Dreamers, apply online for a New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid. And then there's also view and update your school, apply for online scholarships. So New Jersey Gives is there. Award and eligibility information, notifications, portal announcements, anything that you need is here. But your most important thing is that to-do list. If you see anything on there, please, please, please submit the documentation. You don't want to know how many horror stories I have experienced, unfortunately, of students who are in their final year getting ready to walk and they missed the deadline because they weren't checking their account and they can't walk because now they owe a school upwards of $20,000 because they lost out on their tag, or 15,000 or 10,000 because they lost their state aid, and now they can't walk. So it's very important. We only take it for the semester, so we don't take it for the year. But for most students, that semester can be their last semester there, and now the aid is gone. Please, please, please submit on time. Meet the deadlines. Deadlines are important. Please read and please check your accounts, your emails. It's something to get into a habit of doing. We're looking at the cost of attendance. So when you are looking at going to a school and you're trying to figure out how much financial aid is taken care of, you have to factor in everything when it comes down to your cost of attendance. So tuition and fees, obviously, food and housing, whether you're staying on campus or you're commuting, something to look into. Books and supplies, equipment, transportation, personal expenses, medical insurance, federal loan fees, study abroad, dependent care, expenses related to disability, and expenses for co-op education programs. Those are things that you should factor in. Some of these are what we call indirect costs, and some of these are direct costs. So tuition and fees and food and housing are direct cost. Indirect costs would be books and supplies. You may think, books and supplies are nothing, like they don't cost. They do. An access code can run you $100, and it's an access code. Um, a book can be $250, and you think that you can get off of Amazon, but your professor wants it in a certain edition. Or in my case, my professor wanted me to have a book that they actually wrote and can't get off of Amazon. Can only get out at the bookstore, and that ran me 150. Please, please account for all of those miscellaneous fees. Please account for all of the things that you may not think affect you when you're in school, because they do. Um, with the SAI, when you're looking at the cost of attendance, you also should factor in your SAI. So your SAI really is something more for the federal government, state government, and the school to know. It's determined by the federal formula that calculates federal Pell eligibility and is used to determine further financial need using the information you supplied on the FAFSA. So the SAI and financial need are guidelines used by schools to determine student aid offers. That's pretty much it. You're going to see the number. It's not like it's hidden from you. You'll be able to see the number. It can be as low as negative 1,500 and as high as 99999. Obviously, the higher your number is, the less amount of aid you do receive. So the lower your number is, the more aid you receive. Um, but after doing your FAFSA and after you're getting your SAI, you will be provided with a chart that can show you exactly where you are on the guideline. So whether you receive federal maximum Fed, maximum Pell, or minimum Pell, it'll let you know. Here's a sample of an SAI for the Smith versus the Jones family. It's super confusing, so I will slowly go through this, and if you have questions, just don't lose them. We can go back over it. So the Smith family lives in New Jersey. Um, Married, parents filing jointly, but the family size is 4. Okay, their adjusted gross income is 94,002. They have 0 assets, and the student's income is $50, and the student's assets is 213. His SAI is 8,667, meaning he is 0 federal Pell Grant eligible because it's that high. However, the Jones family, who also live in New Jersey, married parents, their family size is 6. They have the same adjusted gross income, same amount of assets, and the student's income and assets are the same. The SAI is 3,764. So significantly lesser than the Smith family, meaning he received $3,631 for federal Pell. It all depends on the family size compared to the adjusted gross income. So with the family size of 4, the adjusted gross income made him Pell ineligible, whereas a family size of 6 with that adjusted gross income made the Jones family Pell eligible. All depends on it. It does open it up a little bit wider for families who do have a lot more and they have a larger family size. Um, the one question on there that a lot of states fought for, New Jersey included, was the number of students in college, because the state takes that into account. So if you have more than one student in college at the same time, the state will then take that into account, and we will give you significantly, more than a parent who does not, or a family who only has one student. Um, FAFSA just wants to look at the students as individuals now. That way, everyone can be eligible for something. So the cycle for financial aid, December and March, you're completing your FAFSA college search, college application process, and CSS profile. That's what you're doing from now until March. February through May, that's when you're starting to receive your school financial aid offers, your packages, seeing exactly what you've received in scholarships and grants and student and state aid, federal aid, institutional aid. June and July, that's when they start to send out those bills. So that's when, if you do have a remainder and you cannot pay, and you know you can't pay it, that's when you start calling your financial aid office, or you're going to the financial aid office and ask for a payment plan, right? Because we want to stay away from loans. So you get to the payment plan as soon as possible. That way you don't have to really take out a loan or that big of a loan, because August bills are due. It comes at you so fast. So this is the cycle of it. Please be mindful that things are moving really fast. I know senior year is the year for, you're done. You have senioritis, you're tired, you're thinking about prom, graduation, senior class trip, everything like that. I understand, I get it. However, please be mindful and please be on top of when it comes down to financial aid and when it comes down to the school that you are looking to go to. Things move very fast. And in the college world, it moves very fast. Semesters are September, in some cases August, depending on the school that you go to. But a semester is from September to December, and it starts in the beginning of September, and schools pretty much are done by the mid December. So thinking about your grades, making sure you're staying on top of your assignments, but also thinking about your financial aid and making sure you're on top of payments and making sure that you're on top of your scholarships, making sure you're on top of renewals. You do have to renew your FAFSA every year. So around this time next year, you'll be renewing your FAFSA. That way you can be eligible for your aid year after year after year. Okay? So once you're done with all of that, where do you go? So you obtain and review your admission, financial aid materials, and deadlines for each school to which you are applying. You meet all application deadlines, all of them. CSS profile, you complete your FAFSA and New Jersey state deadlines, you meet them all. For our incoming freshmen, you guys get a little bit of leeway. So September 15th of 2025, that's the last day you can fill out a FAFSA to get any type of New Jersey state aid, okay? For fall of 2025 and spring of 2026. And then February 15th of 2026 for just the spring of 2026 only. So we give you guys a little bit more time. However, after this first year, so after your freshman year, you're on the same cycle as everyone else. April 15th is your due date. April 15th is your due date, and that is your due date for everything when it comes down to renewing your FAFSA for the next academic year. If you miss that due date and you do not complete your FAFSA by April 15th or your New Jersey alternative application by April 15th, you do not have any type of aid. Okay? We try to give the incoming freshmen just a little bit of leeway because we understand that, you're getting in the swing of it. So after your first year, you should be fine. You should know your deadlines and you should be regularly checking your account and your email. Your schools tell you when to fill out your FAFSA. We tell you when to fill it out, or your New Jersey alternative application, whichever one. So just stay on top of it. And then you start to receive this. It may not look like this, but it's coming from the schools in New Jersey. It's called the New Jersey Shopping Sheet. It breaks down your cost of attendance. So it lists your direct and your indirect costs. Tuition fees, food, housing, are all your direct costs. Your indirect, books and supplies, transportation. If you're a commuter, food and housing, loan fees, dependent care, all of that will be broken down. Then you start to see any scholarships that you receive. You'll see any need-based grants. If you have an employer that's paying your tuition benefits, that'll be up there. Any loans that you have will be up here. If you are got work study, that will be up here. It's a very really good tool to have. You're able to see your finances visually. And some of us need to see that visually to see exactly how much is coming out of pocket that we need to come out of pocket or what is not coming out of pocket. All schools are supposed to give you this. If they do not give it to you, it may look a little bit different, but you can always ask for a financial aid shopping sheet. and they're more than happy to give it to you and fill it out for you. If they don't, contact me and I'll make sure they do. Other resources. So outside scholarships, you will be applying for scholarships throughout your college journey. Please do not stop. Your first and your second year, you may not find any scholarships that are pertaining to your major because at this time you're just taking general education courses. So your junior and maybe the second semester, your sophomore year, your junior year, your senior, that's where all of those scholarships pertaining to your major will be coming out, and you'll be able to apply for them because you qualify for them. Don't stop applying for scholarships. They help a lot. Like I said, books cost a lot of money. Transportation costs a lot of money. They do help a lot. Campus administered payment plans, please, please, please. If you follow what I say and you go to that financial aid office come June when you get that bill, then you can be on a payment plan and you don't have to take out such a large loan. In some cases, you may not have to take anything out because you can actually pay it off in a payment plan. Campus employment, so work study jobs. A lot of the schools and a lot of students are, they try and apply for work study and they may not get it in their first year. That's fine. Keep applying. Your My sister took her a year to actually get her work study job that she has now. Um, but just keep applying. It is okay. You're gonna get it, and stay on top of them. And then any specialized campus opportunities. So RAs, you get your housing paid for you if you become an RA. All right, student ambassadors, student tour guides, internships. Be involved in your campus and do things that are beneficial. So that can help pay for either school, it can help pay for your travel, it can help pay for food, things of that nature. Little do you know, once you get to school, those start to hit you. You start to get hungry a lot more. You start to want to go a lot of places. You're like, I don't want to stay in my dorm all the time. Or you start to realize, like, oh, it costs a lot of money to travel from here to there. Get involved in things that can actually be beneficial. So, work study is one of those things. These are some private scholarship searches. So obviously look into your school's website to see if they have any scholarships. Talk to that financial aid office. They always have them. Local library, local businesses, civic organizations, churches, parents, employers. We have scholarship funds, fastweb.com, collegeboard.org, and mappingyourfuture.org. I'll give you guys some time to take a picture of that. All right. We have a college savings plan. So if you do have any younger kids or younger siblings, we do have a college savings plan called NJ Best. It awards a one-time scholarship ranging from 2,000 to 6,000 to NJ Best beneficiaries who enroll in a New Jersey institution after making contributions to an account for at least 4 years. NJ Best offers a matching grant up to 750 for new accounts. So if you put 50 in, well, yes. So if you put 50 in, then the state will put 50 in. So now you have 100. And it's also state tax deductions up to 10,000 in annual contributions to an account. You can go right on our website to find that. HESAA.org /pages njbesthome.asps. We also host live webinars for FAFSA and for New Jersey Dreamers. So all you do is go right on our website. Um, I should put in here how to do that. However, but they did. It's a little tricky to find it. If you go into the website and you can go like apply for state aid, and then it's like a drop down button. It'll say apply here or webinars. You'll click there and it'll let you know exactly what the Zoom link is, and you can click there and what times we have them. So we have English webinars, and then we have Spanish webinars that are done by my colleague Jessica. Please feel free to log in. That way we can help you out. I'm hosting one Tuesday. I believe that one's New Jersey Dreamers. And then the following Tuesday or two Tuesdays after that, December 10th, I'm doing a FAFSA one as well. So we go line by line. We start from the FSA ID and we go line by line with the FAFSA. This is all of our publications. I believe the school has all of our stuff because you could just order it and get it for free. And we come out there for free as we typically do. And this is our customer care line. They are very, very, very helpful. They are there Monday through Thursday till 8, from 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Fridays from 8:30 to 5. I'm going to put my personal, well, my work number um, and email in the chat, or should I just give it to Dana? Let me just say, can I put it in the chat? Oh, yes. Oh, wait, no, chat's off. So that is the conclusion of our program, of my presentation. If we have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
So we do have the Q&A section. So if anyone does have a question, please put in the Q&A. I know it's a ton of information.
Yes.
And I know I learn something new every time I watch this presentation. But please feel free to put a question in the Q&A section. So this presentation is being recorded. It is going to be posted on our website to be able to view at any point.
Mhm.
There was another question that came in. It says, what happens if income drops since, if their income has dropped since 2023?
So that's the main thing that I say, to go to the financial aid office. They will ask for documentation to just show verification of that happening. But once you go to the financial aid office, you let them know the situation. They will then take that information from you. They will correct if there is anything to correct on your FAFSA. They will correct it there because you can't do the correction yourself. But they will send that information to us, and then that way we can reevaluate your state aid package, and the school can then also reevaluate your institutional aid package. That's why it's very important to go and speak to your financial aid people.
Does it matter how early someone applies for student aid before the actual deadline?
So in the sense of like the
I would say, is there an advantage or disadvantage? Is there an advantage of applying earlier rather than closer to that deadline?
Okay, so there is no advantage or disadvantage at all. Everyone is entitled to either getting full Pell or minimum Pell or in between. So it doesn't matter if you do it today or if you do it 2 months from now. Everyone is looked at as an individual, and if they are eligible for full Pell, they'll get that. If they're eligible for minimum Pell, they'll get that, or whatever in between they'll get.
I'm going to piggyback off that question as well. When it comes to, I don't know if you would have the answer to this one. When it comes to applying for the FAFSA earlier, and that documentation gets to the financial aid offices, is there an advantage to apply early?
In the sense of, you'll be able to get your financial aid awards quicker. So we can't really use last year as a timeline because it was already delayed, right? It was delayed. It came out December 31st at 11:59 p.m. And then we had students doing it, and it was glitching and things of that nature. However, now that it's out way earlier than last year, it's easier for the students, for the schools to get that information. So if they've already applied to that school, they've already been accepted, they're going to start to see their financial aid awards come in quicker. That way they can help them make a decision before that decision date of May 1st. Last year was a little bit harder because we're getting them as quickly, and everyone's delayed, obviously. So they weren't able to make that decision come May 1st. That's why all of those deadlines got pushed back. But the sooner you get it in, the quicker you'll receive your financial aid award package, which makes it easier for you to make that decision come May 1st to put your deposit down for whatever school you decide to go to.
If anyone else has a question, please feel free to put it in the Q&A.
I did see someone raise their hand, but I'm not too sure if it was by mistake or not. I know it's a lot of information, so it's a lot for for everyone to process. Um, you're more than welcome to share my email with everyone if they do want to just if they come up with something later and they have the email, please feel free to email me. That way I can either tell you the answer or I can find the answer for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Tyra, this has been a really very informative presentation. Oop, one more came in. Oh, it was a great thing. Yeah, great info. Thank you so much. This is, like I said, every time I listen to this, I learn something new. Hearing the updates and learning that the FAFSA did open early, it's very helpful to everybody.
Yes.
We really do appreciate you taking your time to be with us this evening. So I appreciate that so much. And as I did mention, this was recorded, or this has been recording, so this will be posted on our website. And I will let you guys know Tyra's information as well if you have any additional questions. So I appreciate everyone coming on and spending this evening with us as well. And if you have any questions with the FAFSA process or anything that's coming up, your counselors are also a great resource as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you,
wonderful
guys.
evening.
Thank you.